Hey, what's up, YouTube? I'm ZG, and this is Command S, the audio blog dedicated to bringing you my personal tips, tricks, and techniques that I've learned over the better half of my life from various engineers just to get you there a little bit faster than I did. Today's video is going to cover the basics of drum processing, drum bus processing, as well as parallel compression. If you end up liking the information that you got today, hit the like button, and if you want more information like it, I don't even gotta tell you what to do with that subscribe button. Now I know what you're thinking. ZG, there's a million videos on this already. And to those people, I say watch your mouth and stick around because I'm gonna show you what I see everybody do wrong with this. If you follow these 3 steps, I promise you your mixes are gonna go next level and your drums are gonna slam the way that you want them to. Let's go ahead and hop into. We've got Silverstein, one of their new tracks called Burn It Down. The first thing you're gonna need to do is get all of your drums highlighted and hit Command G. That will group them all together. You'll label them drums. And I usually put that on D, D for drums. Then hit OK. And you'll see you've got drum groups over here now. I've already went through and grouped all my stuff, and I've done some basic EQ and compression. If you guys would like tutorials on EQ and compression, go ahead and leave a comment, let me know. But for today, I'm going to assume that you guys are okay with your compression and with your EQ, at least basic forms of it. So you'll see, I'll show you what I went ahead and did here for my kick drum. You see I took out a little bit at 400, added a little bit around 2 to 3K, a little bit on the top end for a snappier kick. And then my snare, some basic compression. We'll actually pull that back a little bit, the attack on it. I added some heavy top end on it. I also added around 200 hertz, give or take. So 182 is where that's at. So yeah, anything between like 150 to 250, that's going to give you a little bit more thump in your snare, which I thought sounded better for this. So now that we've explained the basic EQ and compression, once you have all these grouped, you're going to directly output them to a drum bus. And how you're going to do that, you're going to create the bus with Shift Command N. You can do Command arrow key to the right to change it to stereo, or you can pull the drop down, and then Command down to change it to aux input, or you can do that drop down menu there. You'll make this 3 because we're going to need one for the drum bus, for the snare reverb, and then the parallel compression track. You'll hit create. You're going to go ahead and set your inputs to the drum bus as bus whatever. I use the last ones on my chain here. And then your outputs are just going to be the main outputs. They should already be set as that. But you'll set the drum bus one, you'll set your snare verb as its own bus track, and then your parallel compression as its own bus track. See? And once that's done, you're going to go up here to your first drum and go down to the last drum, hit shift and click on all of them, have them all highlighted. Then you're going to hold shift option, and that's going to just affect what you have highlighted, and you're going to change the outputs to the drum bus. So now all of these are outputting to the drum bus, and your drum bus is going through your main outs. So that's good. And then as far as your parallel compression track, you're going to do a send on what you want to send to that. And the difference is the send is like a copy. It's a mirrored image of this this track. Whereas the output, it's not going anywhere else but to that one thing. And then that bus is what's going to the actual outputs, if that makes sense. Now you need to understand that when you do parallel compression, the side-by-side compression, you want to have slow attack on it. That way the transients come through, because that's what's giving you the extra, emphasis on your drums, is the transients are not getting squashed down like they are on your main bus. And then I also do a little bit of EQ on that as well, because I like my parallel compression track to have a little bit more top end. And I was actually listening to this earlier. I need to bring that down. I don't like the tubbiness of it. All right, so let's go ahead and give it a listen. And I'll turn off and on the parallel compression track so you guys can hear the difference in it. Cool. So that's sounding good. Note that these sends are post fader, which means if you have a pre-fader send, it's getting sent before your actual volume control. So you can turn this volume up and down and it won't affect the send at all in pre-fader, which is right here. But we don't want that because we want to maintain a relative relationship between our actual channel and our send to it. So when we pull this volume down here, we want the send to go down as well. And so it's going to be in post fader for that. With that being said, if you are making adjustments and stuff, just understand that your sends are being affected as well. And what's sending to these compressors affects how they react completely. So you'll notice you'll start getting changes. You'll start getting changes out of your parallel compression track. And that's why if you look, I have different, send values for my kick, snare, and toms. The kick is a little bit, probably around negative 13 dB, whereas my snare's around negative 5 dB. And notice I only sent the shells. I didn't send any of my overheads or cymbals to it at all, because if you start sending those, it'll start getting kind of wobbly or like just washy. You'll hear your cymbals pumping, which isn't a good sound. And also keep in mind that transient shapers are amazing tools to put on these things, just to give it a little bit of attack on the transient, a little bit sharper, definition to it. You'll just hear it snap a little bit more. So I threw that on my snare as well as my parallel compression track. And again, we'll take another listen just so you guys can hear the difference, but this is my take on parallel compression. Stay tuned for the next couple videos and we'll go over what I did for my bass tone as well as my guitars.